So, you're standing at a pretty major crossroads, huh? Dentistry or law? Both are powerhouse careers. They both promise a great income, a ton of respect, and work that's going to challenge you for a lifetime. But let's be real, they are completely different worlds. How in the world do you figure out which one is actually right for you?
If you're nodding your head at that quote right now, trust me, you are not alone. This is a huge, high stakes decision, and it's totally normal to be anxious about things like AI and the mountain of debt that comes with professional school. That's exactly why we're doing this, to cut through all that noise and give you a solid way to think about it.
Look, we're not here to tell you which door to walk through. Think of us as your guide. We're basically going to hand you the keys to both the dentist office and the lawyer's courtroom. The goal is for you to peek inside and see for yourself which one feels, well, more like home.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll break down the fundamental choice. Then we'll look inward at the kinds of personalities that really thrive in these fields. After that, we'll get into the tough part, the gauntlet of actually getting in. Then we'll look ahead to what life is really like after you get the degree. And finally, we'll pull it all together to help you find your answer. All right, let's dive in. When you strip everything else away, this choice really comes down to what kind of work truly energizes you.
And here's the essence of it. Are you someone who loves working with matter? Tangible things, physical structure, seeing a concrete result, like literally healing someone and restoring their smile. That is the world of a dentist. Or are you drawn to the world of words, a world of rules, of interpretation, of building arguments and protecting people through debate? That's the soul of law. Seriously, which one of those just feels more natural to you? It's not just a job. One source actually called it choosing your karmic script. Is your script about restoring form and healing, or is it about creating order and protecting? Just let that idea simmer for a bit. Okay, now let's get personal. The best career isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are. It's all about aligning your personality with your profession. And to help us do that, we're going to use a really cool framework called the Holland Codes, or REAC. The whole idea is pretty simple. People are happiest and most successful when their job fits their personality. The letters stand for realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. So what does a dentist's profile look like? Well, for starters, you've got to be incredibly detail-oriented. I mean, you're working in a tiny space. There's also a real artistic side to it. You're crafting beautiful smiles. And since most dentists own their practice, you're also a CEO, a leader, and of course, you have to be someone people trust, who can communicate well, and who is, let's face it, very comfortable in someone else's personal space. Those traits map almost perfectly to the Holland Code RIS. The R stands for realistic. That's the hands-on, tangible work. The I is for investigative, because you're basically a detective diagnosing problems. And the S is for social, because at the end of the day, you're helping people. It's a perfect blend of a hands-on, problem-solving helper. Now let's flip the coin and look at the lawyer. This is a very different person. You have to genuinely enjoy, and I mean enjoy, reading and writing. A lot of it. You need killer analytical skills to pick apart complex cases, and you have to be a master of argument and persuasion to fight for your client. The lawyer's code, that's IES. Now, it shares the investigative and social with the dentist. You're still solving problems and helping people. But here's the key difference. That E is for enterprising. This is the persuader, the influencer, the person driven to lead and achieve big goals. So, which one are you? A realistic doer or an enterprising persuader? Okay, so you've done some soul searching. Now let's talk about the cold, hard reality of getting in. Because it is a true gauntlet, and the paths to get there could not be more different. This table really says it all. For dental school, you need a long, long checklist of science classes. Biology, chemistry, physics, the works. For law school, any major will do. You'll be taking the DAT for dentistry, or most likely the LSAT for law, and the timing is everything. For dental, you want to get that application in by early July, while for law, you're aiming for Thanksgiving. And it's not just about grades and test scores. Real-world experience is huge. Dental schools absolutely require that you've spent a good amount of time shadowing a dentist. For law schools, it's becoming more and more common and gives you a big leg up to have a couple of years of full-time work experience under your belt before you even apply. And now for a dose of harsh reality. That number, That's roughly the acceptance rate for applicants to get into any U.S. dental school. It is incredibly competitive. Think about it. That means about half of all the qualified people who apply each year don't get in anywhere. The odds are just tough.
So let's fast forward. You made it through the gauntlet, you graduated. What does your career actually look like now? For a dentist, the path is pretty well paved and clear. After dental school, a lot of people do a residency. Then you'll probably start as an associate, working in someone else's practice. And for many, the big goal is to eventually own and run your very own practice. A lawyer's career path is way more varied. Yeah, a lot of grads start at big law firms, and that recruiting happens ridiculously early these days. But there are so many other routes. You could go into public interest law, work for the government, or clerk for a judge. But here's a key thing to remember. Unless you go to a top-tier law school, your career might be pretty tied to the state or region where you got your degree. And now for the topic everyone loves to talk about, money. Both paths are a massive investment, but how you pay for them can be really different. Dental school is almost always incredibly expensive, and there just aren't many scholarships. Law schools, on the other hand, often dangle big merit scholarships to lure in students with high grades and LSAT scores, which can seriously cut down the cost. But here is maybe the most crucial financial fact you need to know. There is now a lifetime cap on how much you can borrow in federal loans for these programs. This is a game changer because if the total cost of your school is more than that cap, you're going to have to find private loans to make up the difference. And those usually have higher interest rates. You have to plan for this. All right, we've looked inside both doors. We've talked personality, the application process, and what the profession is actually like. It's time to bring it all home. I want you to ask yourself these 4 questions and be honest. 1. What gets you excited? Tangible matter or abstract words? 2. What's your code? Are you the hands-on, realistic RIS or the persuasive, enterprising IES? 3. Are you truly ready for the specific application gauntlet, especially that heavy science track for dentistry? And 4. Does a career built on interpreting rules and winning arguments sound exciting to you? In the end, this isn't about which career is better. It's about which career is a better expression of you. Your job is a reflection of your personality, your skills, your values. So the only question left to answer is, what is your career a code for?